Hello everyone, I invite you to every Friday cryptocurrency review. Let's start by checking the current situation on the BTC to USDT pair, taking into account the 4-hour interval. First, using the yellow line, we will determine the main upward trend line, which begins at the last price low around $15,400. Then we will move on to determining the second line, also the ongoing upward trend, along which the price is moving nicely. Now we can move on to marking support areas in the event of a correction. And here, using the trend-based fib extension tool, you can see that we first have support at the level of $48,765. Going further, it is worth defining the visible zone in which it bounced repeatedly from $44,442 to $42,203. However, if we fall below this zone and break out from trend line, we can see a downward impulse towards the support level of $35,634. Looking the other way, we can determine resistance areas in a similar way. However, here we can see exits from the basic fib levels, and now we are fighting a very strong level of $52,697, which has so far successfully kept the price from moving further. However, when the situation changes and the price breaks above this level and tests it positively, we will be able to see another upward movement towards the next very strong resistance at $61,321. Moving on to the RSI indicator, it is worth marking a trend line here. What is more, there is room for correction, but here you can see that downward movements result in very slight price movements. When we look at the stock indicator, we can also see room for a potential rebound in the indicator and price. As the second chart in today's review, we will check ETH in pair to USDT, taking into account the time frame of 1 day. Let's start by identifying the main downward trend line from which the price came out on top, creating a new, strong upward trend, which the price is currently above. Looking at the current increases in the market, let's now move on to determining resistance levels, and here, after deploying the fib retracement tool, you can see how the price is fighting in a strong resistance zone from $2,553 to $3,009, which so far does not have enough volume to overcome it. However, once it does and the price goes up, it will move towards the resistance at $3,590. Looking the other way, we should identify places of support. And here the first significant resistance that we should take into account is at the level of $2,120. Then there is resistance around the price of $1,650, which I consider to be the maximum downward level. But we will further define the potential level of $1,311. It is worth looking at the RSI indicators and the stock indicator here, because both of these indicators show that a movement at the upper limit of their ranges results in a slight rebound, but we should still be cautious because the rebound may result in a greater price drop. Third, we will check the ETC to USDT chart on a one-day time frame. First, we will use the yellow line to determine the main upward trend line. However, using blue lines locally, it is worth marking the local upward trend channel in which the price is currently located. Moving on, we can move on to marking the resistance points. And here, after unfolding the fib retracement tool, there is significant resistance at the level of $28.39. And then the price must face a strong resistance zone from $30.17 to $32.44. Looking the other way, we can see that there is support at the level of $23.68. Then there is support at the level of $21.33. And further there is support around the level of $18.33. When we look at the RSI indicator, we can see that we remain in the upper part of the range, but with room for price increases. While on the stock indicator, we are bouncing off the upper limit, which could potentially provide a rebound, but the current BTC increases keep the market in the growth phase. The last one in today's list is the link chart in the USDT pair. We will start by defining the main downward trend with the yellow line. Then it is worth defining in blue the downward trend channel, which gave a dynamic upward trend for the price, which allowed the price to overcome the main downward trend, while creating a dynamic upward trend line. Now, when we unfold the fib retracement grid, we can see how the price is struggling to positively test the resistance zone around $19. If the test ends positively, we can get a new upward move to the resistance level at $26.47. And then an important level which we should take into account is the level of $40.39. Looking in the other direction, it is equally important to identify potential price support points. And here the level of $14.86 is significant, which should keep the price from falling to the next support levels at $10.97 and then to the price of $8.26. Please look at the RSI indicator, where we can determine the downward trend line from which we can see the indicator bouncing again. There is also a lot of room for a potential recovery. However, the stock indicator shows that we were moving towards the upper limit, which resulted in a rebound with room for a larger move. Technical analysis is provided by a third party and for informational purposes only. It does not reflect the views of CryptoDaily, nor is it intended to be used as legal, tax, investment, or financial advice.